What's up, everybody? I'm here with Private Garcia here. She's a 42 Alpha, recent graduate from AIT. We're going to be interviewing her, asking her some great and glorious questions for you so that you have the answers that you're seeking. I'm Sergeant First Class SWARTZ, your local New York Army National Guard recruiter, conveniently located in Midtown Manhattan, and I'm never too busy to transition you from a civilian into a soldier. So welcome back to Team SWARTZ, and if this is your first time here, I post videos about Army basic training, recruiting, and other Army related things. So if that's what you're here for, consider subscribing to this channel. What's going on, Private Garcia? She's a little bit nervous, I don't know why. But, so you just recently graduated from 42 Alpha.
Yes, Sergeant.
Right. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Where did you go to basic training?
Fort Jackson.
Okay. All right. All right. And AIT obviously is Fort Jackson.
Yes, Sergeant.
All right. Cool. Cool. So in the Army National Guard, we have the Recruit Sustainment Program where we make sure that our enlistees, our recruits, are administratively correct and both become or assist them in becoming mentally and physically ready for Army basic training. I understand you were here for one weekend for RSP. Do you feel that it had any type of positive impact on preparing you, at the very least, mentally for basic training?
Yes, it was definitely like a baby step, like an introduction to what I was going to be dealing with in basic. So like the sergeants kind of like are very similar to, especially while we're doing PT, to how the drill sergeants act, and then they show you the basics, like what you learn the first 3 days in basic, which is basically how to stand at attention, how to do parade rest, how to march, how to address an NCO, and stuff like that.
All right, excellent. What did you like best about the RSP, that one weekend that you were there before you shipped off? Because you were a quick shipper.
I like definitely the meeting that we had with Sergeant April, where he explained everything. They just sat us down and they were like, do you guys have any questions, anything? And everybody just started shooting all their questions, and he answered all of them honestly, and he made sure like everything, we were prepared for everything. And for example, like when some people were asking what do we need to bring, and he answered all those questions, made sure that we didn't bring too much, too little, stuff like that. So we weren't like, you know, walking into reception with two big
So a lot of privates brought a big duffel bag with a bunch of unnecessary items that they won't be able to use throughout basic training.
Yes.
Glad you didn't make that mistake?
Yes, I'm so glad I didn't make that mistake, because you carry it around everywhere from the beginning and you get smoked with it, and yeah.
The less you bring, the better. In fact, in the description area down below, I will list the video link that I created on what I recommend that you bring to Army basic training, which is very, very little. You went to Army basic training. What was some of the concerns that you had prior to leaving to Army basic training?
Whether I was physically fit, mentally ready, how I was going to talk to my parents, how I was going to keep in contact with everybody back home, if I was going to be able to make it, the food.
How did you like the food?
I mean, once you're there, you have to eat it. There's nothing else.
And you're super hungry.
You're super hungry, so, and you actually look forward to meals. So, I mean, you get used to it, but at first it's hard. It's
healthy food for the most part. Maybe not the tastiest. I know you're Spanish. You use a lot of Goya products, probably.
Yes.
Lots of flavor in their food. Lots of seasoning.
Yeah.
Not as seasoned at basic training. Pretty bland. It's more like Southern style type food. But for the most part, it's very, very healthy food. And if you don't already know, Army basic training is exactly 10 weeks long, okay, in 3 different phases: red, white, and blue, which we'll go in a later video, but we're going to move on to other things. So you got the basic training, you experienced a shark attack, or what they call now receiving day, right? How was that experience when the drill sergeants came to pick you up from the bus?
They come really cool with their sunglasses. They're just really quiet while you're on the bus. They tell you to like look down, not to look up. And then as soon as the bus stops, they tell you you got 30 seconds to get off my bus, all your stuff. And mind you, like they made us buy everything like at reception that we would need for the first 3 days of basic. So I bought a lot of stuff. So I had like a laundry bag filled with things, the duffel bag with all my uniforms that they had just issued us, and it's hard because you got to run out of the bus in 30 seconds, and then like they made you get information, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, PT, like you have one drill sergeant telling you one thing, the other drill sergeant's telling you another thing, and you don't know who to listen. Yeah, you don't know who to listen to.
Those are the types of games that drill sergeants love playing.
Yeah, so they tell you like, pick up your duffel bag, put it over your head, start running in place, and then the other one tells you, drop the duffel bag, and like you have two of them telling you two different things, so you don't know who to listen to. It's just really crazy. It's literally a show.
Was it what you expected by watching videos prior to leaving for basic training?
I would say yes, but like it's so different when you're there. It's so different. Like you can't mentally prepare for that. You just have to live it.
And I'm glad she said that, because I say that to people all the time. Her and I could be in the same basic training site with the same drill sergeants, the same instructors and all that good stuff. And, you know, maybe she's more mentally resilient or physically prepared, where I, you know, didn't even lift a weight for my life or go outside and run or anything like that. And let's say I was sheltered and I don't like people yelling at me because I take things personal. We could have two different experiences where I felt that it was more challenging and crazy, and she'd be like, this is a walk in the park. So knowing prior to leaving doesn't mean that you're going to have the best experience. So knowing and experiencing are two different things. What are some of the challenges that you came across during basic training? What did you do to overcome them?
The biggest thing for me was the Ruck Marches and having to sleep outside, just field experience, and I think many people would agree with me. You have like this big rucksack, it weighs a lot, probably like 30, 40 pounds, maybe even more, and they build you up, so you start off with less miles, and then next Ruck March you do a little bit more days, so you kind of like get prepared for it, but your back hurts. And then sleeping outside, you don't really plan for weather. So for my Ruck Marches, it was raining, and
you ain't raining unless it's training. I mean, you ain't training unless it's raining.
Yes, that's what they say all the time. And then like one soldier forgot his wet weather top, and one team, one fight. So like he forgot his wet weather top. We all had to stay without our wet weather top, so we were soaking, and it was, for the last Ruck March, it was like 4 days, 3 nights, 4 days, and it was raining the whole time. And you know, while you're there, it's like, it really sucks, but then after you finish and like you get back to the barracks, it's like you feel a sense of accomplishment, and like it just feels really good to have, you know, done that with your battle buddies, and you feel different because you feel like, oh, I can do anything. If I can do that, I can do anything.
Memories for a lifetime.
Yes.
Would you say it's safe to say that the training portion, like the actual training, is fun as hell, but sometimes like situations like when it's raining out, when you're tired, there's nothing really going on in that particular moment, those are the times that really, really suck?
Yes. For me, training was fun, especially basic training. I think it was really fun, and you meet a whole bunch of people from a whole bunch of different places, and like you're all doing things that look like they suck, but it's, you know, when you're there doing it, it doesn't seem as bad. If you have the right mentality for it, I feel like you can enjoy basic training a lot.
Good. And how were your drill sergeants? Were they strict, over strict, not as strict as you thought they were going to be? Maybe they should have been stricter?
You get a mix of all of them. So you have like the really strict drill sergeant, you have the really laid back drill sergeant, you have the drill sergeant, you know, that's a little bit of both. My senior drill sergeant, well, all of my drill sergeants were infantry actually. I think there was one combat medic, and they had high expectations for like all of us. And so my basic training was really like, I feel like I learned a lot. I feel like after a while with your drill sergeants, like they seem sometimes, like in the beginning they seem like, wow, like, you know, they really got it out for you. But at the end, like once you're finished with everything, and like, you know, after you finish the forge, you just have a different picture of them. You really feel like they were looking out for you this whole time, and that they're really there for you. They're really there to like break you down and build you back up.
Yep. Embrace the suck, embrace the process. They can come off, like she's saying, to be very, very strict, harsh sometimes, based on your perception, but deep down they really do want you to be successful and cross that stage and graduate and move on to your advanced individual training. They're hard on you and tough on you because they're transitioning you from a civilian into a soldier. And obviously this is not the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts that you're signing up for. So they want to make sure that they do their very best to give us the best soldier possible. So you mentioned about the forge. They don't know about the forge, or let's just assume they don't know about the forge. Would you be more than happy to share what the forge is?
The forge is basically 3 days, 4 nights, where you basically do ruck marches during the night. So I know for me, they let us sleep during the day, and then we woke up like around 10 in the night, started rucking at 12, and we did it like, I think it was from 10 to 15 miles to our first campsite. And basically we do a whole bunch of activities during the night, and we rucked to all of them. There was Nick at Night, there was combatives, puggles, I think. Pugils. Yep. I mean, like I said, the forge for me, it was raining, the weather sucked, but we had so much fun. I can't complain. Combatives, everybody was waiting for combatives.
Oh yeah. I want you.
Nick at Night was hard.
So Nick at Night is when you're firing at night and you see the tracers over your head, right?
Yes. So you have to low crawl, high crawl. Basically, you can't get up because they're firing live rounds. Mm-hmm.
They tell you it's like 3 feet above your head, but it's actually like 9 feet.
Yeah,
roughly.
And they try to scare you. So they say you get up, you're done.
That's it, finito, finished.
Yeah, but the drill sergeants do it with you. Everything you do, the drill sergeants do it with you. They're rucking with you. They stay with you in the field. You know, they do everything you do. So it's not like they're just watching you do this. So that's why I feel like you also get close with them, because it's like
they're in the suck with you.
They're in the suck with us.
Leading from the front.
Yes. So yeah, Nick and Night was basically just, I think it's like a football field. It looked like it, at least. It felt like it, and you have to like low crawl all the way to the other side.
Definitely 50 to 100 meters long. So you're low crawling and high crawling throughout that course, and it's nighttime, just like she said. They're firing, shooting over top of you, and the military use what we call tracers. So it looks like Star Wars, like weapons just shooting above you. And it's a fully automatic rifle, obviously, and there's just constant firing right above you, and it just adds a lot of chaos and pressure on you. It's a lot of fun in of itself, but your elbows are tore up by the end.
Like there's sand all over. You gotta get used to sand.
Well, you were in the warmer weather. I went in the winter, so like everywhere, anyone that people stepped and stuff, it like, because it was wet obviously, and then it froze over. So like we had a lot of jagged edges when we were crawling through there.
Yeah, that must have been really bad.
Yeah, that was rough. All right, and you guys still did land navigation, right?
Yes, I had, I think, the best drill sergeant for that, and he really made the class fun, learning it, and then So they taught us it inside first, and then we went out and actually did it during the anvil.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it was, yeah, during the anvil. And since he did such a good job teaching us, I think we were all expert.
Was it 2 days of land navigation, 1 day with the drill sergeant, and then another day with just your group? Because that's how they did it when I went through basic training.
No, I think it was, well, no, I know it was just 1 day.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just 1 day where we went and they gave us everything we needed, the protractor, map, and compass. And then we did groups of like 4 or 5. And then we went and plotted points, found them. It was fun. It was fun.
Nobody got lost, right?
No, I don't think anybody got lost. I mean, like I said, my drill sergeant did a really good job at teaching us everything we needed to know.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
People always ask about the gas chamber. They're always super scared of it, obviously, because it looks scary. As we both know, it's not as scary as you would probably think prior to going there and just watching videos. But the gas chamber is 1 day, and if you go through it properly the first time, you don't have to go through it again. But let's talk about your experience.
The actual bad part only lasts like 5-10 seconds.
Exactly. At the very end where they make you take it off.
Yes. And they teach you how to properly put on your gas mask, how to properly take it off, how to seal it, everything like that. So go into this big room, they start burning whatever the chemical is, or
CS gas.
CS gas, yeah. They put it on, and then they make you start like doing some light exercise, just so that when you do take your gas mask off, you know, you're a little bit out of breath.
Mm-hmm. Make you breathe it in a little bit.
Yes.
Make sure you properly clear your mask.
Yeah, but basically, it does something to like your nasal. What would you call that?
Let's just say if you go in there with a cold, it's going to clear you out.
Yes.
It's going to make your eyes tear up. It's going to make your nose start freaking dripping. You're probably going to be drooling from the mouth.
Yeah.
And they make you look goofy. I don't want to say the other R word. But they make you look goofy when you walk out of the gas chamber, flapping your arms like this. Because what ends up happening is the gas falls on top of you, so you have to shake it off of you, essentially. Mm-hmm. And they tell you don't touch your face or skin anywhere in your body because it's going to feel like you're cutting yourself. It's because of that, like the pepper spray, part of the CS gas. It's like riot control gas, basically.
And I know some people had worse reactions than others. Like
some people, it doesn't even affect them, which is a very small amount of people.
I was one of those.
What? It barely affected?
It barely affected me. I was just tearing up.
Did you have a good seal?
Yeah. The drill sergeant thought that I wasn't breathing in. He kept telling me, like, breathe in, breathe in. And I was like, I'm breathing in, drill sergeant. So, yeah, it didn't really affect me much, which was a plus for me. But there was some people, like, there was another private that vomited in there. They made him clean it up afterwards. Some people just had a lot of mucus. I mean, it's not that bad. The bad part, quote unquote, was just those 5-10 seconds that they make you breathe in.
You know, for me, I didn't have a good seal when I first got in, or maybe the filter was defective or something, because as soon as we walked in, I could smell the gas through my gas mask. So I was just taking short, shallow breaths, like, and then just holding it and slowly breathing out, kind of like how you do it when you're scuba diving. So I was like, and then just like...
I watch videos before I went in there, before basic training. So one of the tips that they gave you is, like, before going in there, just make sure you control your breathing, and even like while you're exercising and stuff, try to control your breathing, so when you do take it off, you're not like gasping for air and then like it hits you harder.
All right. So what was the most memorable moment of basic training?
After the forge, we were all just soaking wet, really dirty. They made us pull security for hours, and then we finally went back to the barracks. We stood in formation, and just when your drill sergeant comes up to you and like you you put your beret on and you hand him the patch and then he slaps it on your shoulder. It's just, I don't know, I felt like that was the best feeling for me. I felt like a sense of accomplishment.
All the blood, sweat, and tears, all worth it in the end.
Yeah.
Because you go through a lot, right? Would you say, like, especially physically, even mentally, if you're not as mentally strong as others. But even, I mean, like, you're completely out of your element. You're completely out of your comfort zone. You're away from home for an extended period of time. But people, I mean, lucky for us, we're in New York City, so we're exposed to all kinds of different people, different cultures, different experiences, and EDPs. You know what I mean? So, you know, you go through a lot in Army basic training, and it's definitely gonna change you, hopefully for the better, as long as you embrace the process and learn, and like have that mentality that your cup is always half full or half empty. It doesn't matter, just as long as there's always room for growth, and that you're not a know-it-all. Did you have a lot of 17-year-olds in your training?
Yes, there was a lot of young people. That's also one of the hardest parts, you know, dealing with, because you're I had like 64 females in my bay, and you know, we're all from different parts of the world. We all have our different quirks, and it's just really hard to deal with, especially because they only give you 15 minutes for 60 females to shower the first few weeks, and that's, you know,
watching the hot spots.
It really creates like a tense environment at first, and then as days go by, you start making battle buddies. You start getting used to everything, and then like you all just, you know, you're away from home, but you create like this little family between yourselves, between your platoon, and then between the barracks with your sleeping buddies and stuff. I mean, it all seems really bad before you get there, and even maybe once you get there, but once you're done, you kind of miss it.
I preferred basic training over AIT.
For sure, I think a lot of people do.
We have the same MOS, by the way. I went to AIT there back then it was 71 Lima Administrative Assistant, which is now the 42 Alpha equivalent.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed basic training as opposed to AIT.
You know, even though you have more free time and more freedom.
Yeah, you almost don't know what to do with it once they get to you.
Pretty much.
The only thing in AIT that was better was that they let me keep my phone, so you get to communicate with your family more, which I think is really good. It really keeps that morale up, keeps you motivated. But yeah, I definitely prefer basic training over AIT.
Now, while you were at basic, how often did you receive mail, and how often were you able to call home?
Okay, so I'm gonna go calls home first because it's kind of different. So for me, they let us call home every time we phase. So every time we hit a different phase, they let us call home, and it was 10 minutes flat, no more, no less. 10 minutes. They give you 1 minute warning, 30 seconds, and then if you're not finished by a certain time, you know, you're still talking on the phone, you get either smoked or you get your next phone call taken away.
Hey.
Yes. You get your next phone call taken away too. So yeah, you just tell them, you know, the basics, and then you gotta hang up. And then for mail, it's on your own time. You write your mail on your own time. So like, and you rarely get any time. So either you're staying up writing letters, which is not allowed.
Red lens, right?
Yeah, during the night. Or you get up extra early so you have some time to write mail. But you're able to send mail every day. Basically, 3 days in, you're already able to send mail. I think, actually, the first day, I think you're able to send mail. They give you the address, and if you got your mail ready, you can send mail. And they give you mail as it comes, so it's great. And mail call is every day after dinner, and it feels great when they call your name. It's like, you got mail, you got...
It's like people actually care about me.
Yeah, and then like your family's able to send you send you things that you might need.
Like personal hygiene products. No food. Do not send any food. No magazines. Nothing that's considered contraband.
Yeah. They'll give you a list of everything you can and cannot receive. But yeah, mail call was one of the highlights of my day too. I received mail pretty often.
And that's the primary mode of communication throughout basic training. Very limited to no cell phone usage. She was actually quite lucky every phase. I only got 3 phone calls. When I first got there, I'm here, I made it, I gotta go, love you, bye. Somewhere in the middle for like 5 minutes, and then towards the end, hey, basic training, graduation, and family day are gonna be on these 2 days here. I'm mailing you home some information, hope to see you there, love you, gotta go, bye. So you got way more than me. My brother was like talking like 3 times a week when he went to Fort Jackson for his basic training experience.
It all depends on your drill sergeants. I know some of my battle buddies, later on when I met them in AIT, they told me that they got 45 minutes every phase up, or like some people got less, 2 minutes every phase, or like no calls. It all just depends on your drill sergeants.
So typically, walk me through your morning routine on an average day. Let's say Monday through Friday, where you do mandatory PT. What time is generally wake up call? And like walk me through that process through chow.
So wake up was 3:34 because we had to clean up. Everything had to be spotless, and basically the bay boss decides when we wake up. So everything had to be spotless. Now we got smoke before PT, and nobody wanted that. So formation was 05, and we waited till the drill sergeants came out. Soldier's Creed, Army song, and then PT for 2 hours.
PT for 2 hours?
An hour?
It's usually been an hour.
Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, maybe an hour. Okay, so yeah, PT for an hour, and then I think chow was around 7, and then we came back, personal hygiene.
And you got ready for the day?
And then we got ready for the day. Or it might have been personal hygiene and then chow. It was a while ago.
Yeah, I think usually personal hygiene's before chow, unless you guys are running late during PT. But either way, that's generally what happens. Now, that's pretty early, 3:30, 4 o'clock. I mean, for us, we woke up on our own at 4 o'clock, but lights didn't get turned on until 5. In formation by 5:45 for 0600 PT formation. And then chow was at 7 with quick personal hygiene and ready to hit the road by 8 o'clock. For us.
Well, like I said, everything had to be clean in the morning, so we woke up super early. I know formation sometimes changed from 05 to 5:30, or sometimes earlier if we had important things to do, like shooting week, which was when we were training to go shoot weapons for qual. We woke up definitely at 3:30, and we had to. Some people were really lucky in the basic training, but we had to ruck to the shooting range every morning and ruck back.
We did too.
Yeah.
It's good for you, add character.
And it definitely prepared us for Ruck Marches, so that was good. But yeah, that's basically.
In the evenings, once the primary block of training is done for the day, personal time was generally around 2000, 8 o'clock at night.
Personal time didn't come up till white phase. It goes red, white, and then blue phase.
Yep.
Yeah, so white and blue phase was basically when we started getting a little bit of personal time, but that was hygiene time too. So, you use your time wisely, and it was around. It built up. So like, first it was just a couple minutes, like maybe 15 minutes, and then 30 minutes, and then we got really lucky towards the end, and it turned into an hour. But it all depends on your drill sergeants and how you behave. I know some of my battle buddies that I met in AIT said that if they didn't behave good, no personal time.
It's a luxury to have personal time.
Yes, it's a privilege, not a right. So it all just depends on your drill sergeants and your platoon, your company, how everybody conducts themselves.
Would you say that it's safe to say that around 2100, 9 p.m. is lights out, or was it 2200?
That's too late. I think for us was around personal hygiene around 7, lights out around 8:30.
It's getting earlier. That's good. Well, probably earlier for you because you were waking up earlier. Because for us, lights out was at either 2100 or 2200. I want to say it was 2200, but our mandatory wake up was 5 o'clock.
That sounds too late for us. Mandatory wake up at 5? I don't think so. But I might be wrong, Sergeant.
And if you remember, how was a typical weekend? Were you training on Saturdays? Was it
Saturday was training.
Okay.
No Saturdays off. It was like regular schedule. I think Saturdays we even did more PT in the afternoon. Holistic training, I think it's called.
Interesting. I'll have to ask my drill sergeant counterparts about that.
Yeah, well, that's just what my drill sergeant likes to do. Sometimes during the week we'd have PT in the afternoon. Sometimes not. It all just depended. But yeah, Saturdays we did regular training. Sundays off till 12 p.m. And after lunch, it was an easygoing day. We still sometimes had classes, some training, weapons cleaning all the time.
Always weapons cleaning. In church, obviously, right? Religious services in the morning.
Yes.
And even if you're not religious, go to services. That's your 1 hour at least without your drill sergeant. It'll give you that time to like mental power hour just to refresh and refurbish your mind and get your mind right and get right back into training. It's generally a barracks maintenance day for the most part.
Yes.
You're not off per se. Like she said, you're gonna have classes and things of that nature, but you're still gonna have things going on. But primarily, it's an easier going day compared to the other days. It's kind of like a reset day, and your barracks are never clean. So don't worry about asking your drill sergeant if it's clean, because it's not ever gonna be clean enough.
Never. And that's how I counted my days at basic. I was like, okay, 2 more Sundays left. 1 more Sunday left, and then started going down to 7 days and wake up. Sundays are usually what we look forward to.
All right. And what would you say was your worst experience at basic training?
Worst experience?
My best experience was when we got smoked for 45 minutes.
Smoke sessions weren't, we got smoked for like 45 minutes to like an hour, but I don't know, I didn't take it as a bad experience. I guess that was just me. Some people really struggled with it. For me, it was more like, I don't know, the anvil, the anvil I think was 2 days. 2 days long, 3 days long. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure, but it was really cold. And unless your drill sergeant lets you, you're not allowed to wear your silks or your waffles.
We were never allowed to wear them.
Yeah.
And I went in the winter. I left in October, graduated basic training to January 20th, I want to say. Because I was stuck in reception for 16 days, so technically I didn't even start until November.
Reception sucks. Reception's definitely the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not doing anything, you feel like you're not getting anything done.
You feel like cattle just going through the process of going through the stations and stuff.
Yeah, you can't wait to get to basic.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, it was definitely one of my worst experiences was the anvil. We had just finished covering up our foxholes, and we had to wait in formation for hours, and it was really cold, and we were rucking later. So no silks on, just our OCPs.
It's your cold weather gear. That's what silks are.
Yeah, no silks, no waffles, no cold weather gear. Somebody forgot their gloves. Always somebody forgets something. So one team, one fight. If somebody doesn't have gloves, nobody gets to have gloves. 100%. So we're all just freezing, and it was that I think was the worst experience for me.
Okay. Now, last question for basic training. What advice would you give one who's preparing themselves, either physically and or mentally for basic training? Like, what would you give to them? Hey, listen, you're about to go to basic training.
Push-ups, sit-ups, 2-mile run. Well, now it's ACFT actually.
Yep.
So,
and you still should be doing push-ups, sit-ups, and squats, and pull-ups, and deadlifts, and farmers carries, and drags.
Well, just definitely prepare physically, because it will make your experience there a lot easier, a lot more manageable. Like for me, when I went in, I didn't know how to do one push-up, sergeant, not one push-up. Like half a push-up was a struggle. The drill sergeants conditioned me, but it was hard, and you know, it took away a lot of my personal time, because if you really have the right mentality, you will use your personal time to improve yourself. And for me, I needed to improve PT, so I was doing PT during my personal time. So Sundays I would work out in the barracks. They let us sorry to explain, but they basically let us run up and down the stairs so I could go up in my running time, and stuff like that. So yeah, basically prepare physically, and then mentally just have it in you. Don't quit. Try not to go to sick call unless it's like you're dying because if you go to sick call, you're basically giving up on yourself. Just know that you're doing all this for a reason. Like, they'll mention it a lot of times, like, think about your why you're here, why you're doing this, and that's really what's gonna push you to finish. And so yeah, definitely just physically and mentally prepare. I think you could watch as many videos as you want. You could get as much advice as people that have gone through it, and still it's not gonna be like you going in. It can be a totally different experience for you. It can hit you differently. You just have to be there to actually know what everybody's talking about.
All right, sounds good. Well, that's basic training for you. And if you're about to go to Army basic training, go in there with the mindset that you're going to accomplish everything and anything, and you're going to give 100%. Like she said, like I always say, remember your why, keep that in the forefront of your mind, and that will be your motivation, that drive to get through that, past that finish line at the very end. Trust me, even though the drill sergeants may come off and appear to be rude or harsh or rash or whatever the case may be, they deep down do want you to be successful and cross that finish line. So just trust the process, embrace the suck, lean on your battle buddies. You're gonna make friends, you're not gonna like everybody, but you're there to get a job done, which is to become a United States soldier. So on paper, you're a trainee, you are a soldier, but you don't actually earn that privilege of being called a soldier until you graduate. And that's when they, during the forge, they have like a little ceremony where they patch you up with the U.S. Army patch, giving you that significance that you are now a U.S. soldier. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching this channel and this video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment them below, and I'll see you next time. That's it. Video's over. Sorry, but you could definitely watch more. You can check out this video here, or maybe you can check out this video here. But you know what? Actually, this video is pretty good. You should definitely watch this one. But actually, this one seems pretty great. You should definitely check out this video. But actually, why don't you watch them both? Try clicking them both